The Senate will come to order. I ask everyone present to please rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In the absence of clergy, let us bow our heads in a moment of silent reflection or prayer. Reading of the journal.
In Senate, Wednesday, February 26, 2020. The Senate met pursuant to adjournment. The Journal of Tuesday, February 25, 2020 was read and approved. On motion, Senate adjourned.
Without objection, the journal stands approved as read. Presentation of petitions, messages from the Assembly, messages from the Governor, reports of standing committees, reports of select committees, communications and reports from state officers, motions and resolutions. Senator Janaris.
I move to adopt the resolution calendar with the exception of Resolution 2914.
All in favor of adopting the resolution calendar with the exception of Resolution 2914, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. The resolution calendar is adopted. Senator Janaris.
Okay, at this time, can we please take up previously adopted Resolution 2355 by Senator Rivera? Read its title only and recognize Senator Rivera.
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 2355 by Senator Rivera, memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim February 29, 2020 as Rare Disease Awareness Day in the state of New York.
Senator Rivera on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we are celebrating, this year marks actually the 12th anniversary of the Rare Disease Day in the United States. And this resolution, excuse me, commemorates Rare Disease Awareness Week here in New York State. As the resolution reads, it was not read, but as it reads, the rare is not scarce, rare is not infrequent, and it is not remote. The reality is that there are many folks around the entire state and the country that are faced with diseases that, because they are considered rare, are left without treatment, without cures. But the reality is that these folks are our neighbors, they are our friends, our family members. And so, thanks to the rare disease organization that is with us today, we actually have many of these folks that are joining us. If you could please stand. Now, the National Organization for Rare Diseases made it possible not only for all these individuals to be here and to say hello to the folks on the floor, but also it's just as a way to remind us that, again, individuals that have rare diseases are with us every day. They are conditions that affect 25 to 30 million Americans and 1 in 10 individuals in New York State, with children being the most affected by them. But unfortunately, more than 90% of these rare diseases are without FDA-approved treatment. So we must encourage research, treatment, innovation, not only to better understand these diseases, but also to hopefully potentially find treatments and cures for them. And it is also imperative that we increase public awareness of rare diseases and work across all levels of government to support those who suffer, their families, and their caregivers. So today, Mr. President, we are here to commemorate that. I would ask you to please recognize these folks who are joining us today and grant them all privileges of the House. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Comrie on the resolution.
Thank you. I want to thank Senator Rivera for bringing this resolution forward. It gives me an opportunity to point out one member of the audience that is here. Ms. Gloria Rochester, could you please stand up and just let everyone know? She's a resident of my district, but she's also been one of the foremost experts on informing people about sickle cell and all of the problems with the disease. Many hospitals don't even know to test for sickle cell as a issue when people come in and that they're having long-term illness. And Ms. Rochester has been a major force in informing physicians all over the state. So I just wanted to acknowledge you. Thank you for coming with the group today. I want to thank Senator Rivera for bringing this resolution forward, and I hope that everyone will pay attention to sickle cell and all of the other rare diseases that people are inflicted with. Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure. The resolution was previously adopted on January 14th. To our guests, I welcome you on behalf of the Senate. We extend to you all the privileges and courtesies of this House. Please all rise and be recognized. Senator Janaris.
Can we now take up Resolution 2914 by Senator Jackson? Have that resolution read title only and recognize Senator Jackson.
The Secretary will read.
Senate Resolution 2914 by Senator Jackson, memorializing Governor Andrew M. Cuomo to proclaim February 2020 as Dominican Heritage Month in the state of New York, in conjunction with the commemoration of the 176th anniversary of Dominican independence.
Senator Jackson on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. My colleagues, I rise today, February 27th, in celebration of the 176th anniversary of the Dominican Republic. And this is symbolic. This is their flag, in which it talks about who they are. Today, we are celebrating the governor's proclamation of Dominican Heritage Month in conjunction with the commemoration of the 176th anniversary of the independence with this resolution. And let me tell you some of the facts you may not know about Dominicans in our state. Well, in my district, the 31st Senatorial District, which runs from Marble Hill, Inwood, Washington Heights, West Harlem, and goes all the way down into Brad's district down in Chelsea, my district is composed of about 40% Latinx, meaning Latin people, with the majority of the Latin people Dominican. Dominicans represent the largest group of naturalized citizens of our immigrant population in our state. Dominicans are now the largest. More than 2 million Dominicans live in the United States of America, including the 1 million in our state. And I am especially proud to serve as the senator for the great Dominican community in Northern Manhattan, which includes Washington Heights and Inwood, where their contributions are shaping those areas in so many positive ways. And in fact, Dominicans first arrived in the United States in 1613 with the arrival of Juan Rodriguez, who was also the first immigrant to New York City. And I am proud to say that when you talk about baseball, obviously many of you know some of the baseball greats from the Dominican Republic. But today we recognize the many contributions of Dominicans and Dominican Americans through their economic and cultural vibrancy. The vibrancy shown itself through education, economic development, music, literature, cuisine, fashion and design, film and television, stage work, sports, education and government, and politics. And Dominican culture continues to grow as an important force throughout our state and America. So on behalf of my constituents and all New Yorkers of Dominican heritage, we pause today in our work to proclaim February 2020 as Dominican Heritage Month in New York State, in conjunction with the 176th anniversary of Dominican Independence Day. I encourage all of us from every political persuasion to celebrate the history of the Dominican people in our society. And I know as our culture and economic ties grow deeper, Dominican people will continue to grow in influence and stature in our state and will be an even more respected voice in every field of the American life. So, Mr. President, I humbly ask that we pass this resolution today.
The question is on the resolution. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed? The resolution is adopted. Senator Janaris.
At the request of the sponsors of the resolutions we took up today, they are both open for co-sponsorship.
The resolutions are both open for co-sponsorship. Should you choose not to be a co-sponsor of the resolutions, please notify the desk. Senator Janaris.
Let us please take up the reading of the calendar.
The Secretary will read.
Calendar 198, Senate Print 7306 by Senator Savino. An act to amend the labor law.
Read the last section.
Section 10, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Addabbo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Tom.
Announce the results.
Ayes 57.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 234, Senate Print 2665 by Senator Parker. An act to amend the public service law and the general business law.
Read the last section.
Section 5, this act shall take effect on the 180th day after it shall have become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Announce the results.
Ayes 57.
The bill is passed.
Calendar 278, Senate Print 6869A, by Senator Gorin, an act in relation to authorizing the assessor of the town of Huntington.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 278, those senators voting in the negative are Senator Akshar. Ayes 56, nays 1.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 286, Senate Print 6152 by Senator Sepulveda, an act to amend the criminal procedure law and the civil practice law and rules.
Read the last section.
Section 4, this act shall take effect on the 180th day after it shall have become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Senator Serino to explain her vote.
Mr. President, this is a great bill that was delivered to this body by the Office of Victim Services, and I will be voting in support of it. In fact, there's a lot more that we can and should be doing to make life easier for victims who seek services through the state. But I find it absolutely laughable that this is the first measure that you're putting forward to support victims in the wake of the public safety crisis our state is facing thanks to bail reform. You want to know how we help victims? We start by doing all that we can to ensure that people aren't victimized to begin with. Right now, the state is failing on this front. I am urging you to hear the voices of the thousands upon thousands of New Yorkers who are screaming for you to hit the pause button on these changes before they hurt any more New Yorkers. If you really want to help victims, it's time you start by actually listening to them. Thank you, Mr. President. I vote aye.
Senator Serino to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed.
Calendar 365, Senate Print 5476 by Senator Adabo, an act to amend the racing, parimutuel wagering, and breeding law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Announce the results.
Ayes 58.
The bill is passed.
Calendar 428, Senate Print 7524 by Senator Rivera, an act to amend the public health law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar 432, Senate Print 4284A by Senator Comrie, an act to amend the not-for-profit corporation law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect on the 180th day after it shall have become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar 433 by Senate Print 6431 by Senator Kruger, an act to amend the public authorities law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Announce the results.
Ayes 59.
The bill is passed.
Calendar number 435, Senate Print 1475A by Senator Hoylman, an act to amend the general business law.
Read the last section.
Section 3, this act shall take effect on the 90th day after it shall have become a law.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Thomas.
Senator Hoyman to explain his vote.
Thank you, Mr. President. I thank my colleagues for their support of this bill last year and this year both. The bill would require businesses making an offer to New York consumers involving an automatic renewal or continuous service to clearly and conspicuously present the terms of the offer and obtain the consumer's affirmative consent before charging the consumer. This is an ongoing issue for so many New Yorkers. The practice of continuous membership renewals is used by magazine publishers, gyms, online subscription box services. I've heard about the issue from my own constituents, including the council member Keith Powers, a journalist Soledad O'Brien, and I think some of us who are old enough might remember the Friends episode where Chandler Bing spent an entire episode trying to cancel his gym membership. He was unsuccessful in the end. But if Chandler had this legislation, Mr. President,
in the state of New York, he'd be able to do so in a fair and effective way. I vote aye. Thank you.
Senator Hoyman to be recorded in the affirmative. Announce the results. The bill is passed.
5473A by Senator Martinez, an act to amend the town law.
Read the last section.
Section 2, this act shall take effect immediately.
Call the roll.
Adabo, Flanagan, Gianaris, Kruger, Stewart, Cousins, Tama.
Announce the results.
In relation to calendar 443, those senators voting in the negative, Senator Griffo. Ayes 58, nays 1.
The bill is passed. Senator Gianaris, that completes the reading of today's calendar.
Is there any further business at the desk?
There's no further business at the desk.
Let me wish my colleagues safe home today for those traveling to areas affected by the weather. And with that, I move to adjourn until Monday, March 2nd at 3 p.m., the intervening days being legislative days.
On motion, the Senate stands adjourned until Monday, March 2nd at 3 p.m., intervening days being legislative days.